guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Alesis Sample Pad 8 review time. Okay, so this is a Sample Pad Pro 8 that I recently picked up from Long & McQuaid, North Bay for $379 Canadian. And it is quite the cool toy. Actually, it's more of a tool than a toy. But it serves a lot of purposes I have in mind for it, which is awesome. It is a lot more expandable than the Sample Pad 4 that I had. And comes with a lot more built-in sounds as well. You can download their database of sounds that they have of whack loads of different kit sounds, and they got loop files that you just hit it and it plays a loop beat thing going and ba-da-da-da-da-da. I would imagine if you did your own say guitar and vocal, or you want to sing a cappella for that matter, do your thing. As long as you save it in a WAV format, there should be no problem with playing the whole thing back, which I'm going to experiment with that. I'm actually going to record a song on my computer and save it in a .wav format, and if it plays through like the loops do, and I can record an entire 3 minutes long or something, and just hit one of these to play it or whatever, and then just play the drums along with it. So I can just go type of thing and play along, and then have that actually re-record again. Whatever I want to do type of thing. It should be able to do that. I don't see why not. It does have MIDI in and outs on it as well. I don't use MIDI, so I'm not going to even worry about learning MIDI stuff. I have no use for that sort of system. But you can hook it direct to your computer as well via USB. As well, you can go left mono out, or you can go left and right stereo out to a PA system, or however you want to do things. You have a lot of options there. And your outputs from the back are actually controlled from the main control up front. There's a volume control on the back that is adjacent to a auxiliary input, so you can play along with your favorite tunes kind of deal. That volume control controls the input through the system. So you can get things really where you want them. So just put your phone or iPad or Android device, whatever you're using for an auxiliary input device, and you put it at full blast and then pop her in, where you go. I would imagine you could probably, because it is an 1/8 inch stereo ejector, you should be able to go from your external out on, say, your keyboard, for example, and go to the auxiliary input that way with a stereo connection, and then play your keyboard at the same time as playing this, if you can do both at once, kind of thing. A lot of options there, a lot of ideas that you can manipulate, alright? There's a lot, like I said, a lot more sounds in this than the Sample Pad 4 that I had, and of course 4 more pads. Yay! So we basically have a full drum kit going on at this point, to a certain extent. There's plugins to put in 2 external pads for actual drum pads, because it would have to be that kind of a piezoelectric system for the pad modules. But the other 2 for the kick drum and the hi-hat, you can actually use a sustain pedal like I am for my bass kick. That's what I'm using for now anyway, until I can get a bass kick, because I'd rather have a proper bass kick. But it also has a hi-hat one too, so you can use the hi-hat switch off of an electronic drum kit, and it doesn't matter what brand it is. As long as it plugs in with a tip sleeve or a tip ring sleeve plug it in, away you go. The sustain pedals for keyboards, like I said, that's what I'm using. That kind of a switch, it's a momentary switch, so it has to be momentary. You actually flick a switch on the back to go to switch mode, okay, and then you can make use of this. That works quite well. Anyways, so you can build a full kit. So we've got crash, ride, we've got tom 1, 2, 3, and floor tom. We've got a hi-hat, which is basically somewhat mostly closed, and then we have our snare. So it is kind of different trying to do that whole kick drum thing with your heel on a foot switch, but it kind of does work. Like I said, it'd be a lot easier with a proper kick. And you can change velocities, volume levels of every pad, how they respond sensitivity wise, tuning up and down. So it's like tuning a real set of drums basically for all your sounds. But there's not just drum sounds in this, there's sound effects, you know, vocal effects like "Hey ya" and all this other stuff. You can download their database that they have, throw that on an SD card. You can download loops. You can download files from anywhere on the internet that has drum files. So as long as they're in a .wav format, boom, slam them on, away you go. You can put up to a 32 gig external SD card in this thing and just go nuts. I've got a 16 gigger in here that has barely even been scratched on, and I've already got, oh, I don't know, a boatload of sounds. A boatload. You know, so that really expands your capabilities of possibilities of what you can do. You can also put pads into a loop mode as well. So if you need something to just continually just a certain part of your kit to just play, you can go to the mode area, and you got mono, you got poly. It's kind of like a stereo versus mono thing. There's a little bit of a sound difference. Then you go to loop mode here, and I want to play this in a loop. Get over here. Now you can also change the tempo on this as well, okay, to raise up the speed. That can be done too. You can also stop it at any time. And if you save the changes with these two keys, every time you hit this, it'll just do that. So then you can just go. So it's a great way if you want to also get your timing down too. Have something that's definitely on time, and then use your wrist for your other items. You get the idea, right? Anyways, lots of things you can do. Tons of things you can do with this thing. It's just crazy. Change the reverb level, or turn it right off if you don't want reverb on any of your pieces. That sort of thing. And there are tons of different options you can do. I've actually messed around with a couple kits in here. Jazz Brush, I think, was another one I did. It's got a load, yep. It's running from two different card sources, internal and external. Jambes, bongos. Okay, I'm recording this, by the way, on my camcorder, so don't worry about quality of sound. If you want to hear what this thing really sounds like, check out my unboxing and short demo. I actually have this running direct right into my computer, so this way it was, and I was actually using my computer camera. But anyways, you've got other kits in here as well. You've got a rock kit. This is another one that I've messed with for doing programming demo. But you got like 10 main kits. You can build other kits as well. I think they said like 84 possible kits you can do. You can save a whole whackload of these pre-done kits onto different SD cards as well, to access them in and put them in there or whatever. You have to really download the manual and read through the manual and exactly how to do that. For my purposes for this thing though, I don't have to worry about all these extra building of kits. I'm good with the 10 kits that are here, because I'm just going to build exactly what I need, 4 kits for the purposes that I bought this thing for, and I'm golden. Excuse me, I'm golden that way for what I need. But if you need to go more advancement, you can. It's there for you. It's going to do it. You got your main volume, which controls your output stages from your line outs. Headphone, of course, has got its own independent control as well. So you can just play in private with the headphones on. It's kind of up to you how you want to do things. It does have some pretty good output too. I'm like maybe on number, I'm not even anywhere near, I'd say I'm probably about 7 o'clock on the dial on the volume level of my mixer, and this thing is like at 9, so if I brought this to say 12, I can raise it up a bit, right? And I still got the volume level on that. I've got 800 watts of power in here, guys, between these two speakers. So I got some pretty serious thump power as well. But yeah, you can hook it up to your studio PA system, main PA, plug it into your church system at church. If you're a church player on a worship team, this can actually replace an entire drum set on stage, literally. Especially once you add in the kick pedal and the hi-hat and you program those 2-foot switches, plus this module, you've got everything you need for a very small, confined drum kit system, and plug it into your church PA. You know, because like I said, like kit number 1 is my main drum kit. You know, so I've got my hi-hat, I've got this, you know. I can have a separate hi-hat so I can have that open sound and the closed sound type of thing, like a real working hi-hat. I can do that with this, which is kind of nice. Or I can just stick with the basics. Getting this foot switch to work for me. I got to keep my foot moves it around. But you get the idea, right? So you can have it as a, you know, oh, it's in loop mode. I got it stuck in loop, that's why. Okay, let's get that out of loop. Now, I haven't saved any changes either, so if I just powered this off, which is turn the volume down, hold it for a few seconds, let go, turn it back on, instant back on. Now the firmware, it's running 1.0.21 as of 2018-0411. That's the current firmware that came pre-installed on this. You hear that nice little boot up sound? Okay, so now we're back to normal here. Turn the volume back up. Alright. Anyways, I give this thing, you know, I gotta be honest, okay? It is a really cool kit. Alesis is coming more and more advancements all the time. They're getting to be a better and better company. Like this thing has no static noise, no bad grounding sounds. We've heard about this sort of stuff happening with some of the Alesis equipment in the past, and that's true, it has happened. There had been problems with this particular unit when it first came out, which I think have all been since cured because you know, it turns on instantly. You gotta hold it for a few seconds and then let go of the button to turn it off, which is fine. That's a normal procedure. It doesn't crosstalk any pads on this one. My power supply, from what I've seen from other YouTube videos, my power supply seems to be the most up-to-date power supply by looking at the physical differences between them, because it used to come with a pretty weak one, and there were issues that would happen with that power supply, but Alesis would replace it for free as long as you were under warranty. You know, not a big deal. Or you could get a third-party power supply with the same voltage output, just get something with a bit more milliamps and make sure the polarities are correct, and away you go, just plug in, away you go. So kind of up to you in that sense. But the expandability possibilities on this thing are great. And even just as a unit, even without putting on a piano sustain pedal for running a kick, you can do an awful lot with this thing, even just straight up percussion wise, or even as a main kit, you could do a lot with it for kit wise. So I think as far as that goes, it's really good. It's very versatile. The price for $379 Canadian, I think that's a pretty good price for this kit, to be honest. It really is, in my opinion. Now, what about for pro use? Okay, well, church worship team, yes. At home in the studio, definitely. On tour, probably would want a more expensive, more reliable unit with a lot more versatility, more functionality, etc. So I would say for, beginners to midline people, this is definitely a good system. I would not recommend it for a pro touring musician by any means. It's nice, but it's not that high end. And the durability factor, there are more expensive units out there that are much more durable for that sort of purpose and also offer a lot. Now, for jamming also in nightclubs, that sort of thing, if you're into it, this would be a great thing to bring along, and you can see it in the dark, which is great. Drummers and percussionists need to be able to see things in the dark a lot better, because you're always dealing with low lighting, and this thing lights up really nice, especially for the night look. It's pretty nice display, and it's not hard on the eyes either. And I like how, too, when you hit a pad, it lights up so you know what pad you've hit, too, right? Not that you wouldn't know, but it is kind of nice that they have that in there, which would be kind of cool. Yeah, overall, great little machine. But honestly, I have to keep this thing at around a 4 1/4 rating. Ain't nothing perfect. It's not really technically designed for a pro touring musician. However, if you're in the studio with it, using it in a studio situation only, I think you'd be fine with that. I don't see why not. I mean, I have my little studio in here and it works just dandy. You know, this thing will be coming to church with me eventually. And get used there for things that it was, you know, intended for. But also for advancing my own skills as a musician and bettering my own music that I write myself. This thing's going to be very handy for that. You know, so that'll be great. Not to mention all the other fun I'm going to have doing videos with this thing with some crazy stuff I got in mind. So stay tuned. But anyway, that's what I got for you today. So if you're interested and you're in Canada, check the link below for Long McQuaid. I'm just going to have their main page link up there for this, so you can check it out. But do browse the rest of their website if you want to check out all their other Alesis gear. And of course they've got like, what, 90 stores, or they're getting close to 100 stores now. They're always opening new stores a lot, which is great. And they're a Canada-wide company, so, you know, you can get stuff brought in from other stores. You can rent something in Nova Scotia and bring it back to Ontario with you and still pay your rental bill either online or at your local Long McQuaid that's near you. You know, that sort of thing. If you're done with your rental, bring it back to any Long McQuaid and it goes through the system and voila! You know, I mean, you don't have to drive back to Halifax or anything to take your gear back. You just do your thing. So they're a pretty cool business that way too. They make it so easy for you to be able to enjoy your life of music, you know, literally. Other than that, that's pretty much all I got for you guys. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Leave them in the comments below. Do the best I can to answer them. Just don't ask me nothing about MIDI, because I don't want to learn MIDI, and I don't care about MIDI. You know, I do have a tutorial video up there. It's a basic tutorial. For those wanting a more advanced tutorial, minusing the MIDI thing. On that video, leave your comments there if you want to see something of a more advanced one. But I think we covered pretty much everything we needed to anyways in the basic tutorial. The rest of it, it's kind of like, you know, download the manual for free, read through it, and learn more about the machine yourself that way as well, and then decide if it's something that's for you or not. You know, I mean, some people look at these things and they go, nah, you know, go buy a Roland, go buy a Yamaha. Well, nothing wrong with those. They are expensive. Alesis does have a top-of-the-line model, one up from this one, and I saw it and I went, oh! But then I thought, wait a minute, buddy, give your head a shake, Kevin, you don't need anything that advanced. You know, and that would be something that would be good for the pro touring musicians for sure. And the bells and whistles in that sucker are just phenomenal. You know, this thing, yeah, it more than does me, and it saved me like about $500 almost. So yeah, I'm thinking this is the better way to go for my usage. If this meets your needs too, then hey, feel free to buy one. Now, if you don't live in Canada, hey, find your local Alesis dealer at one of your music stores, or check online to order it. Maybe you can get it off Amazon. I have no idea. I've never checked Amazon for this thing yet, but generally, if it's on Amazon, it's going to be there. So you know. Do keep in mind on prices too. In Canada, this is $379. Anything more than that, I say, okay? Unless our dollar crashes, the price will go back up, of course, higher than that, and that's the way the dollar works. So, in that case, yeah, then it would kind of be worth it in that sense, because the dollar got crashed again. Anyway, so, thanks for watching. Do subscribe if you haven't already, and click the bell for notifications. You know, if you want to see more content from my channel on this and other videos that I do all the time. And, hey, catch you on the next one. See ya.